Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Welcome to this channel, me Sanam Naz, and here I am going to start lecture series in this channel, and these lectures are taken from only biology class 11th book in first year, and this content is taken only from grade 11th biology, and all F6 students, Federal Board students, and all other students and other viewers who can check and follow these all lectures and can understand any concept about any topic, and because concept will be the same but content may differ, but you can follow and you can check these all topics and videos to understand and to clear your concepts. In this lecture we are going to start our first chapter, that is cell structure and function. Before going to start this chapter, first of all we will check the contents of this chapter 1. So first is cell theory, second is techniques used in cell biology, and in techniques the first technique is cell fractionation, second differential staining, third microdissection, fourth tissue culture, fifth chromatography, sixth electrophoresis, seventh spectrophotometry, eighth resolution and magnification microscopy, ninth micrometry. So these are all the techniques that we will discuss in this chapter. In this lecture only we will study first two topics, that is cell theory, and from second topic techniques used in cell biology we will discuss only first technique, that is cell fractionation. Also there are some other contents of this chapter that are here, and we will just go through these contents. These are the cell wall, plasma membrane or cell membrane, cytoplasm, cell organelles, and from cell organelles we will discuss the endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, Golgi complex, lysosomes, peroxisomes and gloxisomes, vacuoles, mitochondria, plastids, centrioles, cytoskeleton, cilia and flagella, and nucleus. So these are all the cell organelles, and our last topic will be the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. We will discuss the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So these are all the contents of this chapter that we will discuss inshallah after one after another in the next lectures. So in this lecture we will discuss only first two topics, that is cell theory and cell fractionation. So what is cell theory? By the middle of 19th century, different biologists have formulated a cell theory, and this is considered as a fundamental concept in biology. As a biology students you have to understand this cell theory because it is very important in order to understand the biology and in order to understand this chapter. So because it is a fundamental concept, so there are many points of this cell theory, but here we will discuss in only five points that are given in your book. So first is cell is the fundamental unit of structure and function in living things. So it means that a cell is a basic unit, and it make a structure, and it make a whole living body. And all living things, including unicellular or multicellular or plurial, all organisms are made of one or more cells. So cell is the fundamental unit of structure and function because every function depends upon structure. So every structure is made up of only single unit, that is cell. So in unicellular organism you can see here, for example in paramecium, only one cell form the whole life of that organism. Similarly in colonial and multicellular organism, many cells combine together and form an organism. So in this way we can say that a unicellular organism or multicellular organism, in all organisms a cell is the fundamental unit, that form the structure and function of that living organism. Second is all organisms are composed of one or more cells. Same thing, that all living organisms including unicellular, colonial or multicellular organisms, all are composed of one or more cells. In unicellular, we will see only one cell, but in multicellular organism, we see millions or trillions of cells. So, all organisms are made of one or more cells. Third is, new cells arise by other cells through cellular division. Yes, all cells arise by pre-existing cells. So it means that for new cells, for new daughter cells, pre-existing cell or parental cell is very important. So in one cell there is cellular division, and you know that mitosis in this is also a mitosis, that in which one cell divide into two cells and two daughter cells will formed, and how it will how these all new cells will get rise. There are two types of division. First is karyokinesis, in which genetic material divide, and then cytokinesis, in which cytoplasm will divide and one cell give rise to two cells. So in this way new cells arise by other cells through cellular division. Fourth is, cell carry genetic material passed to other cells during cellular division. As I had said that in cellular division, first is karyokinesis and then cytokinesis. So in karyokinesis, first the genetic material, that is hereditary material, that is very important in cellular division, it will first divide and produce and it will goes to the daughter cells into new daughter cells. Then cytokinesis means cytoplasm divide. So genetic material transfer, genetic material is very important for a new cell. If any cell have no genetic material, it means that is not a cell. So division of genetic material and transfer genetic material is very important in cellular division. Fifth one is, all cells are same in chemical composition. Yes, it's very important that all cells have same chemical composition. For example, cell membrane composed of protein and lipids, and the content of protein and lipid. For example, protein is 40 to 60% if I am right. It will be present in all cell membranes having same chemical composition of protein and lipid. So it means that all cells have same chemical compositions. So it is the cell theory. It's very important according to this point of view, and it's very important for understanding the next biology and all about cells. So these all points are very important. Next we will discuss techniques used in cell biology. We are going to start our chapter, that is cell structure and function. So in order to understand the cell structure and its function, it's very important that we have to separate these all cell contents. So for separating these all cell contents and studying these all cell contents in depth, we have to separate these all cell organelles and all things that are present in a cell. So that's why we use some techniques in our biological labs in order to separate these all things. These all contents are cytoplasmic material or organelles. So there are many techniques that we use in our biological labs. So there are some techniques that we will discuss, and then there's some techniques that are given in your book. So we'll discuss one by one. First is cell fractionation. What is cell fractionation? It's a combination of various methods. So it's not only one method in this cell fractionation, it's a combination of different methods to use to separate a cell organelle and component based on size and density. What's the base of this cell fractionation? This cell fractionation is based on size and density. Size and density of these all contents of cell contents, including organelles or other components that present in the cell. So these all organelles and components will separate according to their size and density. Size is the it's mass of cell or size of cell, is large or small cell or cell contents, and density is the D is equal to M over V, mean mass or volume. So density D is directly proportional to mass, that if anything have greater mass, then it will have greater density, but if it has little mass or low mass, then their density will also be less. So these all contents will separate according to size and density. So this cell fractionation consists of two steps. First is homogenization and second is centrifugation. What are these two steps? We will discuss one by one. First is homogenization. Homo means same. It's a formation of homogeneous mass of cell, cell homogenate or cell suspension. So, in order to understand this term, I will give an example. I will give an example of, for example, if we have a glass of water and we will put our solute, for example, our sugar or salt into it, and we will mix that solute in solvent, then we will get a mixture in a glass. And when we see that mixture from top to bottom, the whole composition of that mixture will be same. So we cannot separate our sugar or salt from water molecule. So it is our homogeneous mixture. So homogeneous means having same composition from throughout the cell suspension, throughout the anything that we want to mix. So in this way, in this homogenization that we are using here, we will homogenize our cell material. Mean when we mix all the contents of the cell, then we will get a homogeneous cell suspension. But how will get this cell suspension? We grind the cell that are our interested cell, including any plant cell or animal cell. We will take a tissue of that cell, that animal or animal cell or plant cell, and after taking that tissue, we will put in a grinding machine. So that grinding machine will be similar like our blender machine or a food mixer that we use in our kitchens. And so this material that will be the tissue of plant or animal, this will become a homogeneous mixture and will get that cell suspension. But how we'll get that suspension? We will provide a suitable medium to that machine, including pH, ionic composition, temperature, and the enzymes. So these are all contents should be optimum in that machine. But here we are not using that our blender machine or mixer, food mixer. We are using another type of machine, that is cell homogenizer. Here you can see the cell homogenizer. It's like a mixer, food mixer or a blender machine, but not a blender or food mixer. So it's a different type of machine, that is cell homogenizer. We will put our tissue into this beaker or any bowl that here. So after putting it and providing a suitable medium, we will run this machine and we will get our homogeneous cell suspension. The resulting cell suspension is then we will go to second step, that is centrifuged. So second step after getting that suspension is centrifugation. Centrifugation is the process of separate substance on the basis of their size and density under the influence of centrifugal force. Here also the separation of materials or things according to size and density, but here we are separating things under the influence of centrifugal force. So what is centrifugal force? You have studied in physics that when for example, when we have a string and we have a stone at the end of that string, and we move that string in a circular form, then that stone will not go beyond our circle. So the force that we are exerting that on that stone, that is our centrifugal force, but that we have put on that stone by our hand. So this is centrifugal force. Same like that here in our scientific machine. Here this is the scientific machine, you can see here this is the scientific machine. So we will put our homogeneous suspension in test tubes or in tubes, and these test tube like the and these tubes will like the test tubes, and we will put our suspension in that test tube in that tubes, and we will run our machine, that is centrifugal machine. And after during spinning moment, there is a centrifugal force that will exert force on these tubes, and all materials that present in these tubes will settle down. So this is due to the centrifugal force of this machine, and all content that will present in these tubes will be settled down in the tubes. under centrifugal force, and the sedimentation occur in these tubes, and that is the basically the settlement of these all content that are present in the tubes. So there are two major ways of centrifugation. First is density gradient centrifugation, and second is differential centrifugation. What are these two? First of all, we will discuss the density gradient centrifugation. In density gradient centrifugation, cell components of different size and densities sediments in tubes according to their size and densities. Same thing, size and density. But how this occur, we will describe by a diagram. Here you can see here, this is a test tube. Because we want to separate our sample, that will be the any cell contents including any organelle or only one organelle. For example, here we are going to separate our DNA molecules. So we will put our sucrose solution into this tube. In this density gradient centrifugation, we will use some solution. So mostly sucrose solution we are using here, and we also use in our labs. So in sucrose solution, we will make some composition of this sucrose solution. This may be the 5%, 15% or 20% sucrose solution. And after making these compositions, we will put our solution into test tube. In second step, then we will put our sample that will be the homogeneous mixture of our cell, including any organelle, one organelle or only or mixture of different organelles. So we will put this sample into this tube, into this sucrose solution. Here there is a tube. Here we have our sucrose solution and also our sample. For example, here is 5% solution, here is 20% solution, and for example here is 15% solution layer present in this tube, and also our sample is present in that tube. Then we will put these tubes into our centrifuge machine. When you put these tubes into our centrifuge machine, and centrifuge machine will run, and under centrifugal force, all the whole contents, mean our sample, will settle down in this tube. For example, here we have our DNA molecule. For example, our sample will be the DNA molecule. Then all contents that are small size DNA molecules will settle on the upper layer, that is 5% sucrose solution, and medium sized DNA molecules will be settled down or sediment in 20% sucrose solution. Sedimentation is settlement of these layers. So medium sized molecule DNA molecule will settle in the 15% sucrose solution. Then large size molecules, mostly large size molecule having high size and larger size and also have greater density, so it will settle down in a bottom up tube in 20% sucrose solutions. Here these all contents will settle according to the different sucrose solutions mediums, sucrose compositions. Here for example 5% sucrose, so the DNA molecules whose density lied that 5% sucrose will settle down here, and medium size will settle down here, and large size molecule will settle down in 20% sucrose solution. In this way we can sediment different components of cell or cell organelle or only one organelle according to their size and density. So there is the sedimentation, and after sedimentation we can break this test tube from the bottom, and we can separate these all contents one by one. Second, here is science tidbit. During centrifugation, the bigger particles sediment faster and have higher sedimentation coefficient, Sevedt-Berg or S value. So what is sedimentation coefficient? Basically it is the rate of sedimentation, that how fast anything will settle or not. So this is the sedimentation coefficient. So it's not an additive property. It's not an additive property. We say that sedimentation depends upon mass or volume. Mean density is equal to mass or mass over volume. So it does not depend only. It doesn't depend only on the mass or volume. It also depends upon the surface area. It also depends upon the surface area. I can give example of this surface area by ribosome. And you know that the ribosome, there are two types of ribosome. One is 70S and another is 80S. 70S is mostly in bacteria and 80S in animal cell. Here we can see here the ribosome subunits made up of two subunits. Ribosome is made of two subunits. One is largest subunit 50S and one is smaller subunit, that is 30S. When we check the sedimentation coefficient of larger subunit, then its sedimentation coefficient will be 50s. But when we check the sedimentation coefficient of smaller subunit, its sedimentation coefficient is 30s. But when we combine these two subunits and again check the sedimentation coefficient, it will take 70s. Actually 50 plus 30, it should be 80s, but there is less 10s value. So due to the how this value will decrease, it is due to the surface area. When two things will be separate, two subunits will be separate, so their surface area will be greater, so they have 50s and 30s value. But when we combine these two subunits, then their surface area will decrease, so we'll get only 70s, not 80s. So in this way their sedimentation coefficient will decrease. Hope so you have understand this sedimentation coefficient. Next is differential centrifugation. So what is differential centrifugation? In differential centrifugation, the sedimentation rate for a particle of a given size and shape by how fast the particles settle or sediments. Then it depends upon the rate of sedimentation, that how fast the particles or anything is settled. If the machine or scientific machine will move faster, then smaller size molecules will settle down. Here we check there are two types of layers we get after this sedimentation. After this centrifugation, first is pellet and second is supernatant. What is this pellet and supernatant? I will describe by this diagram. In this differential centrifugation, we will put our homogeneous mixture. After homogenization, we will put our homogeneous mixture in this test tube. Here you can see here the different mixture of different components having smaller and larger size from higher to lower size. Here there are green, blue, black and blue and red color particles. But here when we'll after putting this homogeneous mixture in test tube, we will run this tube in centrifuge machine. And when we run this machine, then the larger size molecules will settle down fastly in the bottom, and all large size molecules will settle in the bottom. And here we say that the bottom molecules that present in a layer, that are the sedimentation of large size molecule, it is the pellet. This layer is called pellet. And all above suspension or cell suspension, that is here, it is the supernatant. In this way we have separate our large size molecule here. Then this supernatant, will put that supernatant into another tube, and again we will run that machine in centrifuge machine. Then particles smaller than green particles will settle down here. Again we'll run this machine, and all red color particles will settle down here, means the smaller than green particles. And this is this is the pellet and this is the supernatant. Again we will separate this pellet and again put our supernatant into another tube, and run in the machine, scientific machine. Then the smaller than red particles are the blue particles. The blue particles will settle on here, so it is our pellet and this is our supernatant. Again we will separate this pellet and again put this supernatant into another tube and run in the centrifuge machine. Here the all small size particles that present in that suspension will settle down. Last particles that will also settle down here, so it is our pellet. And above here, it is not shown, but here there is a suspension, that is cytosol. And I have described in previous lecture, in lecture number 1, that when we will separate things, sorry, not in that lecture, in only this lecture, when we will want to separate things, we will get only last in our last tube, we will get the pellet and all our other material that is present here, that is suspension, that have other nutrition medium and also enzyme and other things. So this is the cytosol. This is the cytosol. We will not differentiate that cytosol by this scientific machine. We will put if we want to separate these enzymes or cell suspension or nutrition medium, we will go for another technique, that is chromatography. So here is the separation of only those molecules that are up to this size. So we will separate all things, all components of the cell by this differential centrifugation. Hope so you have understand this whole topic, and we have discussed here the cell theory and our first technique, that is cell fractionation. Hope so you have understand it. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and share, and to subscribe my channel. And if you are a teacher, you can share these videos to your students, and if you are a student, you can share these videos to your other fellows. So thanks for watching. Take care. Allah Hafiz.